I am a pediatrician who had diabetes. Now, with normal hemoglobin A1C after 4 months on a carnivore, I feel amazing, and I'm trying to decide how to let this knowledge affect my pediatric practice. Well, I'm really glad that you're doing so much better. That's amazing, and I think it's really great that you're thinking about how this can affect your practice, because, of course, this is going to make a massive difference in the lives of your patients. Look into the studies and the work on just ketogenic diets in general. So carnivore diet is a ketogenic diet. I've heard it termed a plant-free ketogenic diet. And but there are literally thousands of high-quality studies on high-fat, meat-based ketogenic diets showing explicit benefits for many major medical issues. I mean, diabetes. I mean, that's in the guidelines now in Australia of using ketogenic diets to treat diabetes. So that's actually a standard of care. And in fact, it got upgraded to best practice this year, and because it works, And so, immerse yourself in that literature, and you go to the YouTube channel Low Carb Down Under, where I have a few talks on. They have amazing lectures. It's a medical conference. It's CME CPD medical conference here in Australia, and they have some really amazing people talking at these things. And I'm not just saying that because I've spoken there. I'm the least of all of these videos. I've got a couple good ones. My plants are trying to kill you one that sort of went viral there, but it's they're amazing talks there. And so just immerse yourself in that. I mean, there's this whole world of medicine that we just weren't taught in medical school or residency, because there's no product at the end of it, right? So it doesn't get into the curriculum. It's not, there's no drug reps or anything like that coming around telling us how great ketogenic diets are for childhood diabetes and things like that. Because there's no product, right? So only products have a marketing budget, and so we have to find this stuff ourselves. But it is there. It is absolutely there. And looking at Dr. Paul Mason has a ton of great talks there. There are cardiologists there. There are cardiothoracic surgeons. There are psychiatrists. There are pediatricians. There are many different top doctors giving excellent lectures, and there are plenty of studies available. So this is evidence-based medicine. It's just we have to go look for it. It's not going to be spoon-fed to us. So think about that. Immerse yourself in the literature and the data. And then, you can talk, I mean, we've been using ketogenic diets, for well over a century for epilepsy. In the late 1700s and 1800s and early 1900s, the only treatment for type 1 and type 2 diabetes was a ketogenic diet. That was the only thing that would keep people alive when they stopped making insulin. And then we got insulin, and it was like, oh, okay, no problem anymore. We just forget about everything that we did for the last 150 years. But that was the treatment for diabetes for 150 years, was a ketogenic diet. And fasting has been used in medicinal context since there's records of it going back to like 500 BC. So these are working on the same principles. And also looking at childhood development. I mean, think about it. How many studies are there showing that if you disrupt the normal cholesterol metabolism of the brain, you'll get very serious neurological conditions and misdevelopment of the brain. Like, you need cholesterol for the brain, and we're eating things that lower cholesterol and interrupt the normal cholesterol metabolism of the brain. And so obviously that's going to be a big deal when you're talking about the pediatric population. Kids need to be in ketosis, because they need ketones across the blood-brain barrier and reconstitute into fatty acids to build the physical structures of the brain. Also, the neocortex and 2/3 of the brain optimally primarily run on ketones. We learned this in biochemistry, at least those of us who had the undergraduate degree and took college level biochemistry, that when you have ketones available, even if you have an abundance of glucose, those parts of your brain will only run on the ketones. It's only when those ketones start dropping that you start replacing, filling in the gaps with glucose. And so it's very, very important for a kid to be into ketosis. Fetus is in ketosis in the womb, and breastfeeding children are in ketosis because they need to be in ketosis. And then we give them a bunch of sugary formula and nasty mushed peas with a ton of sugar, and it forces them out, and they don't develop properly. We've seen the brain size in humans drop precipitously at about 10,000 years ago. Dropped 11% for adult males, dropped 17% for adult females. And that's a developmental issue. That didn't take hundreds of years or thousands of years. That wasn't like an evolutionary process or anything like that. That's a developmental delay. And we saw this in real time with the Native Americans and Australians. They shrunk and their health got seriously affected. I don't know if they've ever done, head circumference and, calculating that. But, if you look at the skulls of pre and post agricultural humans, massive difference. That's a developmental issue. And so part of that is that you're not in ketosis and you're not getting the right nutrients up to the brain. So we have all that information. Like, we know that happens. And of course, that's the most important in a pediatric population. If you have kids with autoimmune issues, they're getting rashes, they're getting sick all the time, God forbid they're getting diabetes, these are interventions that are very important to think about. And you talk to the parents about it, you get informed consent, say, listen, this is something, that could help, and this could help in these conditions and X, Y, and Z. And, it's not going to hurt them. Meat's not going to hurt anyone. And eliminating out carbs and being ketosis certainly won't hurt them, because kids are supposed to be in ketosis so their brains can grow. And you're not missing anything by cutting out vegetables. In fact, you're gaining a lot by cutting out vegetables. You're getting rid of these anti-nutrients that block out the absorption of the nutrients, even in meat. You're stopping the digestion. You're blocking protease and lipase and stopping your body from breaking down the nutrients that you need. Fiber will bind to bile and eliminate that, so you can't absorb the amount of fat that you need and your brain needs, and so on and so on and so on. So, then you can start, once you get confident enough that this is not going to hurt anyone, first, do no harm. Meat does not do harm. And you've seen the data in the literature and on ketogenic diets. Carnivore diet is a ketogenic diet. It's a plant-free ketogenic diet, which has that next layer of benefit, because now you're getting rid of these toxins and these anti-nutrients, and even fiber. It's an anti-nutrient. It blocks out 30% absorption, or up to 30% of the absorption of the food that you're eating. So that's fine if you're eating garbage, and you don't absorb 30% of the garbage. But what if you're not eating garbage? Well, then you're blocking out 30% absorption of things that are good. And so, once you understand that, and you sort of, and you really, you've seen it in yourself, but now, looking into the literature, and once you're confident enough and you start talking to patients about it, you will see results like you've never seen before in your entire life. And, that's why I use diet and lifestyle as a major part of my practice, because it works, and we have medicines that can fill in the gaps, but so many things just go away and stop being a problem long before you ever get to medications. And so, I still will prescribe things for people, but the amount that I have to do, it's vanishingly small compared to what, people would normally have to do, or what, I would have done historically, because you're just like, oh, here's this problem, here's this pill. That's how we're taught. But now you change their diet and their lifestyle, and all these things just improve. And I always say, like, look, I'd rather not do medications. Why don't we see how you go? And they're feeling better and they're doing better, and you're months on and you're seeing their blood work all improve and their blood pressure improve, their diabetes go away and their autoimmunity goes away. Like, okay, yeah, we don't even need to start medication. Someone's really bad, then okay, you get them on the medication while they're transitioning, but then you can deprescribe. And so I think you'll find that once you are confident enough to make that step, you will see better results than you've ever seen in your entire career. And that's really exciting, because it's pretty amazing. And like my friend Dr. Gary Feck, he says, once you see it, you can't unsee it. Like this is there, and you can't stop recommending this to people, because it works, and it works better than anything else we're doing. So it's great to hear. Thank you for sharing that, and glad to have you on Team Carnivore, and I'm really looking forward to hearing about your experiences with your patients in the future, because I'm sure it'll be great. Hey guys, just want to take a second to thank our sponsor, Carnivore Bar. I don't promote many products because honestly, all you need to be healthy is to just eat meat. For those times that you're out hiking, road tripping, or stuck at work and you want a nutritious snack that is just meat, fat, and salt if you want it, the Carnivore Bar is a great option. So I like this product not because it's just pure meat, but also because I want the carnivore market to thrive as well. And the more we support meat-only products, the more meat-only products there will be available in the mainstream. So if this sounds like something you'd like to get behind, check it out using my discount code Anthony to get 10% off, which also applies to subscriptions, giving you 25% off total. All right, thanks guys. Primary care provider said he won't order certain blood work tests when I asked for it for things like fasting insulin and more, which were recommended by you and others because insurance won't approve. It annoyed me. How do I get around this? Look, that actually is the thing. Some of these things you might just have to pay for out of your own pocket. If the insurance won't pay for it, then they won't pay for it. But it can still be useful. You want to have that on the lower end. And if you have this massively elevated insulin, you show that you have insulin resistance. That can be a good piece of information. Leptin is another one. Leptin takes a lot longer to normalize than insulin does. But at the end of the day, if you're on a ketogenic carnivore diet, so a plant-free ketogenic diet, your insulin is going to come down. And so it's a good tool to assess people that are eating any old which way. And then you can use that and say, look, listen, you're massively insulin resistant. This causes a lot of problems because insulin affects over 100 different processes in your body, and this is a big deal. We need to get this down. The only way to get it down is a ketogenic diet. And so that's what that's used for. But if you're already doing the intervention, your insulin is going to be normal eventually anyway. And it usually takes a few months for people that are insulin resistant. If people are exquisitely insulin resistant, it could take several months, but it will come down. And so I don't think you absolutely have to have a fasting insulin test. It's a good piece of information, and it's also very reassuring because you look at this and okay, my insulin is 36, and now 6 months later it's 5. Okay, well that's great. It's a proof of concept that this is actually working, but you're gonna get down to a good healthy level eventually anyway. So it just depends. If you want it for a reassurance and just to be able to track things, then paying for it out of pocket might be worth it. Probably not that much, $10-20 maybe. I don't know, maybe not even that much. You can check your leptin while you're at it. And if you have leptin resistance, it's very difficult to lose weight typically. But you don't strictly need it as long as you don't need it for motivation to stay on track. If you're just happy to just keep going with it, they're all going to come down and normalize anyway. If you want to see that in real time, then you may need to pay for it out of pocket because the insurance may not cover it, which is stupid because fasting insulin is way more important than just blood sugar alone, because your blood sugar can be completely normal, but you can have insulin resistance, and fasting insulin be elevated for 10-15 years before your blood sugar ever comes up. So it's catching it early, a lot earlier. You're catching diabetes a lot earlier. And I would consider that really pre-diabetes. And then diabetes is when your blood sugar starts coming up, but they call that pre-diabetes. And then when it's floridly elevated, then you get full diabetes. I think that's not quite right, but that is what it's termed as. But it is important to check fasting insulin, even if you have normal blood sugar, right? But if you're on a ketogenic diet, it's going to get better anyway. If you're on a ketogenic carnivore diet, it's going to get even better, even faster. And so, I wouldn't worry about it too much. But if you want it for your own reassurance, then, I would look into, private testing centers that you can pay to get whatever test you want. Hey everyone, really happy to announce a new sponsor for the show and for everybody down in Australia, Stockman Steaks, who are delivering high quality grass-fed and finished pasture-raised beef and other meats, flash frozen and vacuum sealed to your door, something that I've been enjoying a lot of myself recently as well. They also have a great range of specialty items such as high-fat keto mince and carnivore beef and organs mince with liver, kidneys, and beef heart as well. So use code Chaffee today for a free order of beef mince or another your specialty gift along with your order at stockmansteaks.com.au, and I'll see you over there. Thanks, guys. Total cholesterol 211, HDL 42, triglycerides 156, LDL 139. Should I be concerned? Doctor is hounding me about a statin. Well, there are over 100 different particulates of LDL, and even the ones that are damaged, SDLDL, the damaged glycated oxidized ones that could cause an issue, maybe, or they could be indicating that there is damage going on in your body that is damaging the LDL and also damaging other things that could precipitate atherosclerotic plaques. I think it's probably the latter, that the SDLDL doesn't cause anything, that it's just, it's a symptom. It's not the disease. It's the smoke. It's not the fire. It's a sign that something's going wrong, but it's not the cause of it going wrong, if that makes sense. Also, if you have all this SDLDL and damaged particulates, statins don't reduce those. Statins prevent your body from making the large, buoyant, healthy LDL molecules in the first place. So, is that really of benefit? I don't think that it is. It's also treating a problem that hasn't ever been proven to exist, because we've never proven that there's a cause and effect relationship between any form of LDL or ApoB or total cholesterol or anything else and cardiovascular disease. In fact, the only experimental studies that have ever been done on the subject have shown the opposite. Have shown that you improve patient health. You get improved outcomes with higher animal fat and cholesterol, and so when they lower saturated fat or lower animal fat, replacing it with unsaturated vegetable oils, lower LDL cholesterol, in 3 of these studies that conferred no benefit to cardiovascular disease. And in the 2 larger, better designed studies, actually lowering fatty or animal fat and cholesterol actually caused more heart attacks and strokes and more deaths from heart attacks and strokes. So it's treating a problem that doesn't exist. I wouldn't worry about your LDL. Typically, population studies show that the higher your LDL and total cholesterol, the higher your life expectancy is. There are also a lot of there's a lot of suggestions that if you have cholesterol under 200, you actually are worse off. You're more susceptible to infectious diseases, cancers, other sorts of very serious issues. Higher LDL is associated with lower rates of Alzheimer's and Parkinson's and dementia. It's also associated with lower rates of heart attacks and strokes, in fact. It's just that, they try to sort of hide that and or lie about it and change the data around, like they did with the Framingham study. They misrepresented the data from the Framingham study. American Heart Association misrepresented it and said that, higher cholesterol equals higher cardiovascular disease mortality. In fact, it was a lower cholesterol correlated with higher cardiovascular disease mortality rates. So, that was a lie. As you go, it looks like you're probably early on in a well, I'm assuming you're on a carnivore diet, or why else are you here, asking me? But if you're not on a carnivore diet, you should be. And what that will do is it will raise your LDL, your HDL, and it will continue to lower your triglycerides, and then you'll get that ratio of HDL to triglycerides will be more favorable. So you don't want more than double your HDL in triglycerides, and eventually, if you stay on a ketogenic carnivore diet, your HDL will eclipse your triglycerides and actually have higher levels of HDL than triglycerides and be extremely low risk of heart disease, regardless of what your LDL is. So yeah, so good luck with that. But no, I don't get concerned over that. My main thing would be your HDL and triglycerides. I want to see your triglycerides down further and your HDL up more, and being on a ketogenic carnivore diet, it will. Once you're confident enough and you start talking to patients about it, you will see results like you've never seen before in your entire life. And that's why I use diet and lifestyle as a major part of my practice, because it works. And we have medicines that can fill in the gaps, but so many things just go away and stop being a problem long before